Welcome to our deep dive, everybody. Today, it's all about the history of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh, yeah, Flight Simulator, a classic.
We're going to use some excerpts from Wikipedia to go through it all, but honestly, the story is surprisingly fascinating.
I mean, it's spanned decades, right? It kind of reflects how both personal computers and gaming have changed over time.
Exactly, and by the time we're done, you'll see this whole franchise in a different light. Promise.
I think people will be surprised, for sure. Flight Simulator is way more than just a game.
Right. It shows how technology has advanced, how dedicated its community is.
Yeah, and it lets people experience the wonder of flight, without leaving their chair.
Okay, so let's set our course for the past and rewind all the way back to the mid-1970s,
Whoa, way back.
before IDM PCs were even a thing.
Really?
Yeah. It all starts with this guy, Bruce Artwick, the true pioneer in computer graphics.
Okay.
He was writing these articles about 3D graphics, specifically for flight simulation.
Huh, interesting.
And these weren't just like basic guides either. He was getting into some really complex theoretical stuff.
So he was basically asking, what if we could make flying feel real using computers?
Yeah, pretty much. And that sparked something amazing. What's really cool is the people who read his articles, they didn't just think they were neat.
No.
They wanted in. They were contacting the magazine, asking to buy this flight simulator software, even though it didn't really exist yet.
Wow. That's wild. So, he created a demand without even meaning to.
Exactly. Sometimes the best ideas kind of create their own market. People didn't even know they wanted this until Artwick showed them.
That's a good point.
So with all this unexpected demand, Artwick starts the Sublogic Corporation in 1977.
Okay.
And get this, they were selling these early flight simulators through mail order.
Really? No app stores or anything?
Nope, just floppy disks showing up in your mailbox.
That's crazy to think about.
And these first versions, they were running on platforms most people haven't even heard of today. The 8080, the Altair 8800.
Oh, wow. Those are some, real vintage computers.
Right, these are the pioneers of personal computing. And Flight Simulator was right there at the forefront. It's almost like the software was a test to see how powerful these new computers actually were.
Huh, that makes sense.
Then in 1979, things shift a bit when Flight Simulator's released for the Apple II.
Ah, the Apple II. Now, that's one I know.
Right. That opened it up to way more people. It really planted the seed for what it would become.
Definitely. The Apple II helped make personal computers something everyone could have, so more people got exposed to Flight Simulator.
For sure. Then in 1982, Microsoft comes into the picture. They see the potential in this software,
Yeah, they were smart to pick it up.
So they licensed Flight Simulator for the IBM PC, which was quickly becoming the standard computer.
I mean, that partnership makes sense. Microsoft had the platform, they knew how to market things, and Artwick had this amazing, innovative software. Perfect match.
And here's a little fun fact. In those early days, Flight Simulator was used as a kind of unofficial test for new PCs. Like, would it run on this new machine or not?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Along with Lotus 123, which was this super popular spreadsheet software, if your PC could run those, it was a solid machine.
So even back then, Flight Simulator was pushing the limits of what computers could do?
Totally. And it just kept pushing those boundaries, with every new version they released. In '84, Flight Simulator 2.0 came out. It was a big leap because they expanded the scenery to cover the entire United States.
Wow, the whole country.
The whole U.S., and they added support for joysticks and mice.
Oh, right. So that's when it started feeling more like you were actually controlling the plane.
Exactly. Those might seem like small additions now, but they made a huge difference back then.
Yeah, I bet. And Flight Simulator kept evolving, right?
Oh, absolutely. It was like it was growing alongside the computers themselves. As the computers got more powerful, Flight Simulator used that power to become more realistic, more detailed, and add more features.
I can see how people would get hooked on that. It was always getting better.
Right. Like with Flight Simulator 3.0 in '88. More aircraft, more airports, but the real change was you could finally see your plane from the outside.
Oh, wow. So you weren't just stuck in the cockpit anymore?
Nope, it was a huge step toward making it look more realistic. You could actually appreciate the three-dimensional nature of it all. It set the stage for even better graphics down the line.
Cool. But before we get too far ahead, wasn't there another important change that happened around then?
Oh yeah, Flight Simulator 4.0 in 1989, it brought in dynamic scenery. So for the first time, you had moving traffic both on the ground and in the air.
That's huge. I must have felt so much more real with other things happening around you.
It did, and let's not forget they also added the option to design your own aircraft.
Really? So people could build their own planes in the game?
Yep, and that's become a big part of what makes Flight Simulator so appealing, being able to customize it, tinker with it, make it your own.
Yeah, I can see that. That's way ahead of its time, especially with all the modding communities we see in games now. But there was something else that happened in the early 90s, right? Something about textures.
Oh man, textures. Flight Simulator 5.0 in '93, it was a complete game changer.
What was so different about it?
No more flat, boring landscapes. They added textures. Everything suddenly looks so much more real. It's hard to describe how big of a difference it made.
It must have been mind-blowing at the time.
Oh, it was. Flight Simulator was often at the forefront of pushing those graphics boundaries. And Flight Simulator 5.0 did something else that was really smart. They introduced the BGL scenery format, which, believe it or not, they still use today.
Wow, they were thinking ahead.
Seriously. They created a system that was flexible enough to last for decades. And they didn't stop there. In '95, Flight Simulator 5.1 came out, and it kept pushing the visual realism further. They added scenery libraries, satellite imagery, and a whole bunch of weather effects. Storms, 3D clouds, fog. The virtual skies were getting serious.
You know, it's interesting to think about how that changed the whole experience. Before, it was mostly about, learning how to fly the plane. But with those visual improvements, it became more about experiencing the world, feeling how dynamic everything was.
That's a really good point. It shifted from just simulation to something more like virtual exploring. You weren't just flying, you were immersed in this dynamic world.
Right. And then Windows came along, right? So did Flight Simulator change with it?
Oh yeah. In 1996, they released Flight Simulator for Windows 95, which made everything run smoother, improved the haze effects, and even added the extra 300 aerobatic aircraft. So now you had even more options for flying.
It's amazing how far it had come in, 15 years? From those mail-order floppy disks to a full-blown Windows application.
Crazy, right? And the innovation just kept going. Flight Simulator 98 added a helicopter, the Bell 206B3 Jet Ranger. That was a big deal because it opened up a whole new way to fly.
It's cool how they weren't content to just stick with what they had. They always wanted to add something new, to challenge people to learn new things.
Absolutely. And they were always pushing the technical limits. Flight Simulator 98 also had a better interface, and for the first time, it supported 3D graphics cards through DirectX.
DirectX, I've heard of that, but I don't really know what it is.
It's basically a set of tools that lets games talk to your computer's hardware better, especially the graphics card. So you get smoother visuals, better performance, and a more enjoyable experience overall.
Ah, okay. So Flight Simulator was using some pretty advanced tech even back then.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of advanced, Flight Simulator 2000 came out in 1999, and man, they went all out. 3D elevation, a GPS system, even more detailed scenery, and the Concorde.
Whoa, the Concorde, the supersonic jet.
The one and only. This era was just incredible for Flight Simulator. Every new version felt like a giant leap forward. This feels like a good place to pause for now. We've covered a lot, but the story of Flight Simulator doesn't end here.
Oh, I know. There's so much more to come. I can't wait to dive into the next chapter.
All right, we're back, ready to continue our flight through Microsoft Flight Simulator history.
You bet. We left off just as things were really heating up.
Right, like we were talking about how each new version felt like a massive leap forward.
Yeah. And Flight Simulator 2002 definitely kept that trend going.
Oh, absolutely. That's one came out in 2001, and it brought out some features that, honestly, we take for granted in flight sims today.
You mean like the stuff that makes it feel like a real airport environment?
Exactly. Air traffic control and AI aircraft. So before this, you were basically alone in this, well, beautifully rendered world.
Right. Just you and the clouds.
But now, suddenly, there were other planes to deal with, procedures to follow. You had to talk to air traffic control.
Wow, that must have changed the game completely.
It really did. It went from just practicing flying to, actually being part of a living, breathing aviation world.
I bet.
Oh, and the visuals got even better, too. The graphics were smoother, the scenery was even more detailed, and they brought back the 3D virtual cockpit.
The 3D cockpit, what's that?
So, in some earlier versions, you were kind of stuck with this 2D representation of the cockpit.
Oh, okay.
But in Flight Simulator 2002, they brought back the full 3D cockpit. So you could look around, interact with all the instruments. It was a huge step towards making it feel real.
I can see how that would be more immersive.
Totally. Then in 2003, we got Flight Simulator 2004, A Century of Flight.
A Century of Flight? That sounds special.
It was. They released it to celebrate 100 years of powered flight.
Ah, cool.
And they included all these historical aircraft, like the Wright Flyer.
No way. You could fly the Wright Flyer.
Yeah, and the DC-3.
So cool. But it wasn't just about old planes, right? They added some other stuff, too.
Oh, yeah. Flight Simulator 2004 also had this much improved weather engine.
Even better than before.
Way better. This was the first time they had real 3D clouds and localized weather conditions.
Wow. So, if it was raining outside your window, it could be raining in the game.
Pretty much. You could even download real-world weather data, so your virtual flights could match what was happening in the actual world. It was crazy immersive. No other flight sim had done that before.
I bet that made things a lot more challenging too, right? Having to deal with like actual weather conditions.
Definitely. It wasn't just about flying anymore. It was about dealing with the forces of nature.
Right. So at this point, we've got these incredible visuals, immersive ATCs, historical aircraft, realistic weather. What else could they possibly add?
Well, in 2006, they released Flight Simulator X, or FSX. And, as you might guess, it brought its own set of innovations.
Hit me with it.
A brand new graphics engine, DirectX 10 support.
DirectX 10, was that a big deal?
Oh yeah, it meant the graphics could be even better. And they took advantage of it. FSX looked amazing, the aircraft were super detailed, the world felt more alive.
Sweet. And didn't they do something with multiplayer too?
Yep, they really expanded the multiplayer features in FSX, so it became less about flying solo and more about connecting with other people, flying in formation, coordinating these complex operations. It was really cool.
That makes sense. Online gaming was really taking off around then, right?
Exactly. Oh, and they also fixed something that had been bothering people for a while.
What was that?
You could finally fly over the poles.
The poles, like the North Pole and the South Pole?
Yep. In the previous versions, you'd hit this invisible wall if you flew too far north or south. But in FSX, the whole world is open for exploration.
Huh, that's funny. It's like they were finally acknowledging that, the Earth is actually round.
Right. It was a small detail, but it made a big difference.
It showed that they were paying attention to the details.
For sure. But then, in 2009, something happened that really shook the flight simulator world. Microsoft decided to close Ace's game studio.
Whoa, Ace's Game Studio. That was the team that made Flight Simulator, right?
Yep. It was a tough time for the community. There was a lot of uncertainty about what would happen to the franchise.
I bet. It's like if the people who make it aren't there anymore, what happens next?
Exactly. But you know what? Instead of letting Flight Simulator just fade away, the community stepped up.
Really?
Yeah. Third-party developers started creating all these incredible add-ons. Aircraft, scenery, tools, you name it.
That's amazing. So even without the original team, people were still finding ways to make Flight Simulator better.
Exactly. It was really inspiring to see how much passion and dedication there was.
It's like they were saying, we're not letting this go.
Exactly. And it wasn't just hobbyist developers either.
No?
Nope. Lockheed Martin, that Lockheed Martin, they got involved.
Wow, serious players.
They bought the rights to Microsoft ESP, which was the commercial version of Flight Simulator X, and used it to build their own professional-grade simulator.
Whoa, so Flight Simulator was being used for real pilot training.
Yep. And it still is. Lockheed's simulator is called PrepBar 3D, and it's used by a lot of organizations today.
That's pretty incredible. Flight Simulator was always more than just a game, but this really takes it to another level.
It really does. Then, in 2014, there was another big change. Dovetail Games got a license from Microsoft to release Flight Simulator X on Steam.
Steam? Like the online gaming platform?
That's the one. Releasing it on Steam opened Flight Simulator X up to a whole new audience.
Yeah, that makes sense. Steam has millions of users, right?
Tons. And Dovetail didn't just re-release it, they worked with third-party developers to make a bunch of downloadable content available on Steam.
So even more ways to customize the experience.
Exactly. They even tried to create a brand new flight simulator a few years later. It was called Flight Sim World.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that. What happened to it?
It didn't really take off, unfortunately. They shut it down after about a year. But hey, at least they tried something new.
I appreciate that. Sometimes you got to take risks, right?
Absolutely. And that brings us to 2020 and the triumphant return of Microsoft Flight Simulator. This wasn't just a new version, it was a complete reinvention.
I remember when that came out, people were losing their minds over how good it looked.
And for good reason. The level of realism was just insane. They used satellite data and Azure AI, that's Microsoft Cloud Computing Platform.
Okay, so like super advanced tech.
The most advanced. And they created this world that, in a lot of places, you could barely tell apart from the real thing. You could fly anywhere on the planet, and it was just gorgeous.
So they basically took all the best parts of Flight Simulator and cranked them up to 11.
Exactly. And they didn't just focus on visuals. The flight models were better, the weather was even more realistic, and the cockpits were ridiculously detailed. It really felt like you were flying.
I can imagine. And didn't they make it available on Xbox too?
Yep, that was huge. It meant people who didn't have a powerful gaming PC could finally experience Flight Simulator.
Smart move. It opened it up to so many more people.
For sure. They even added it to their Xbox Game Pass service so you could play it for a monthly fee.
Oh, right. Game Pass. It's like Netflix for video games, right?
Pretty much. It's been really successful. But before we get too far ahead, I think we need to take a moment to appreciate the Flight Simulator community.
Oh, yeah. They're a big part of the story, aren't they?
Huge. They've kept this franchise alive even when things were uncertain. And they've made it so much richer with all their creativity and passion.
It's amazing how dedicated some people are to this game.
Right. Like from the early days of sharing custom aircraft on floppy disks to the massive online communities we have now, Flight simulator enthusiasts have always been a driving force.
It's not just about playing the game for them, it's about being part of something bigger.
And the amount of stuff they create is just mind-blowing. Highly realistic airports, rare historical aircraft, entire continents recreated in incredible detail. They even have realistic air traffic control networks run by volunteers.
Seriously, wow, that's next level.
It's incredible. They've built this whole virtual world that goes way beyond what any single developer could have imagined.
I bet that's one of the reasons why Flight Simulator has been so successful for so long.
Definitely. And the community isn't just about creating content. They're also super welcoming, especially to newcomers. There are tons of resources to help you get started, and you can always find someone to answer your questions.
That's great. It sounds like a really supportive community.
It is. And that brings us to today. Just last year, in 2023, Microsoft announced Flight Simulator 2024.
Ooh, a new one. What's that going to be like?
Well, they're promising even more realism, new aircraft, and a focus on specific real-world aviation scenarios.
Sounds exciting. Do we know anything else about it?
There are rumors of enhanced graphics, even more detailed weather, and maybe even helicopters.
Helicopters. That would be awesome.
It would. It's definitely a great time to be a Flight Simulator fan.
It sounds like the future of Flight Simulator is looking pretty bright.
It does? Wow, we've really flown through a lot, haven't we? From those early days of floppy disks to this incredible world they've created in Microsoft Flight Simulator.
It's amazing, right? And you know what stands out to me? The community.
Absolutely. Through all those changes, the ups and downs, the community has always been there.
And like they really feel like Flight Simulator is theirs, you know? They've helped shape it and keep it alive.
For sure. They haven't just been playing it, they've been actively making it better.
Exactly. Their passion, all the add-ons they create, it's incredible. And thinking about that, it really makes you wonder, what's next for Flight Simulator?
What is next? It's hard to imagine where they go from here, but with technology always changing, who knows what's possible?
I know. We've got Flight Simulator 2024 on the horizon, but what comes after that? It's exciting to think about.
One thing that really fascinates me is how Flight Simulator could be used for, like, education and training.
Oh, yeah. Like, imagine students learning about geography, weather patterns, all by virtually flying around the world.
Right. Or pilots, practicing their skills in a super realistic simulation before they ever get in a real plane.
Absolutely. The potential is huge. And with VR and AR becoming more common, it could get even more realistic and immersive. The lines between the virtual and the real could really start to blur.
Can you imagine putting on a VR headset and feeling like you're actually piloting a 747 over the Alps? It's mind-blowing.
It is, but it all makes you think, right? Like, as this virtual world gets more and more real, what does that mean for us? Will we start to prefer those perfect controlled skies over the real thing?
Whoa, those are some deep questions. But I think that's what makes Flight Simulator so interesting. It's not just a game, it's this platform for exploring, for learning, for thinking about what's real and what's not.
You said it, and I think that's a perfect place to wrap things up. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but it's clear Microsoft Flight Simulator has a bright future. They've got this amazing community, a dedicated team, and a legacy of always pushing the boundaries.
So if you're listening and you haven't tried it yet, I really encourage you to check out Microsoft Flight Simulator. Who knows, you might discover a whole new passion.
And remember, the sky's the limit.
Well said. Until next time, everyone.